Hey folks, Baltmatrix here, and it's time for another fish bot. So we're going to open it up. Now this fish did come directly from the Hasbro Pulse, and it will be going to my good buddy Grimlockamus once I'm done reviewing all of these. So we have Generation Selects Seacons Lobclaw. It pinches! Now, Lobclaw is also known as Nautilator here in the US. So we have the directions on the bottom, his axe accessory, the figure itself, another fist, and then a gun piece. Now, this gun piece is the exact same one that came with Kraken, aka Sea-Wing, just unpainted. So let's get him out of this box and take a look. Lobclaw's lobster mode is pretty good, except for one major problem that I have with the figure, and that is that the under legs don't really peg in all that well. They're supposed to peg into these little slots in the chest, but they just kind of rest there and don't really hold together well. So every time I move the figure, these legs just fall out from underneath the lobster mode. But otherwise, the lobster mode looks pretty good. The tail works well. I wish it was a little bit more posable than it is. And the claws work incredibly well. And they are nice, pinchy claws that are obviously remolds of Blot's arms. And the giant lobster head works well. You are able to open the lobster mouth, but you need to use one of the included accessories to actually grab the bottom and open up the mouth. I do appreciate the giant red monster mouth, though. That's really not exactly anatomically correct, but who cares? In the lobster mode, you can attach the hand weapon and the cannon together, like that, and then peg it into the top of the lobster mode, and you end up with that, which looks really stupid. It looks so dumb. And you can also then come around and attach the axe to the back like this, or you can simply attach the cannon anywhere else that it'll fit. God, that is so dumb. But you can flip off his enemies as he's shooting them, so that works. The transformation into robot mode is pretty darn simple. Remove the tail, put that off to the side, bring the legs down, and you want to make it so that they will flip out and around. Open up the legs and fold them down and peg them in and split the legs apart, and then stand the figure up and turn the hips around 180 degrees. Then for the arms, bring the arms out, flip the inner claws around, bring the arms down, shoulder down, and push the entire shoulder back into the body, and do the same thing on the other side. And then grab the entire backpack and fold it down and accordion it till it pegs into the back, and then turn the robot head around. And there we got Nautilator in robot mode. Color scheme works for the figure. The highlights or the little flashes of red and dark blue work. The overall aesthetic of the figure is good, even though he does feel a little bit oddly proportioned. Head sculpt is good, but it's lost in the black of the backpack. So what I'm doing for you right now is just popping that backpack off so we can get a better look at the head sculpt, which I like. Could use a little bit more color around those cheeks, but otherwise it's pretty good. Nautilators, or Lobclaw, or whatever you want to call him, his posability is fine. Ball joint in the head, ball joint in the shoulder, ball joint at the elbow, torso rotation, ball joint in the hip, swivel, bend the knee, no foot articulation. One big problem with the feet, though, are the legs they just kind of flop around. It's obvious from the look that this was supposed to be a ratchet, but it doesn't ratchet at all. It doesn't do that. So there's only really one way to stop them from flopping around, and is it to turn it around and then peg them into the back of the feet. And the directions don't totally show you as supposed to do that, which is odd. Now, to arm him up with his accessories, we can then take his little lobster tail and flip it 180 degrees around, and it becomes a gun. And we'll just put that on there. And then his other stuff can be attached. You can attach this gun or cannon anywhere you want. You can have him wield his axe in his other hand, like so. Or you can do something that's kind of fun and silly and give him the gun, have that pegged in, and then give him kind of a pole axe. My preferred way of posing him is putting an axe in one hand and his lobster tail claw in the other. That just, I think, works better, though you can pose the axe a little bit like that. Unfortunately, you do expose the open forearm, or the empty forearm, so there is that. I think it looks good. I could use a little bit more gold to go with the face. Maybe some gold on the legs or some gold on the shins. I think that would work better, but otherwise, I like the look of this guy. For the transformation into arm mode, we will start off with the, well, robot mode. Simply combine the legs, because that's pretty much what you do for all of these. Take the head and kind of move the fish head out of the way, and then kind of have to actually open up the fish head and redo how the connector is, so we can get some posability there. And then take the arms and we flip the claws back out. And with the claws flipped back out, we just kind of put the arms off to the side like this. They don't really peg in. And that's pretty much it. That's really all there is to it. Like so. Now, one thing the directions do have you do is, according to the directions, you actually leave the robot fists out. Nah, I'm not doing that. I like it better with the claws out. Now, for the foot mode, we transform the upper section the same way we do as for the transformation of the arm. And one thing I did forget, the tips of the claws actually do peg into these little bits right there. And then we split the legs, or open them up, and then bring them up like this. Half transform him back into crab mode. And that's kind of it. Now the only other thing we would do here is take the little lobster feet or legs and fold them back. That's it. That's the foot mode. Next, for the gun mode, it's literally take the combiner port, fold it down, and then attach some weapons together. So the one gun goes here, and then the other gun gets pegged in underneath, and that's literally it. Nothing else, just this. And that's pretty much it for Nautilator. There's nothing else happening on this guy. Alt mode, I legitimately like the lobster alt mode. The foot and arm modes are fine, but I kind of dig this thing. It gives me some blot vibes. I would like there to have been a little bit more paint, a little bit more gold, a little bit more red. I think adding more color in general would work. The mode for the crustacean works. Unfortunately, it's not exactly what I would call sturdy, but it does work. It's probably my least favorite of the crustaceans, of the alt modes so far. It's, I think, the least successful, but I still like it. I still think it's a fun figure. How many lobster transformers do we have? I can think of one from Beast Wars, and even Beast Wars Seconds, and he was part of a combiner as well. So, yeah. It's time for lunch, and this video review is over. I picked this figure up over at the Hasbro Pulse. Please head down to the description on this video to follow me on Patreon. Your $2 a month will help me keep the lights on. Let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Baltmatrix, and I'm going to go eat some lunch.